Well, let's get to hating Big Bob Iger. And it's pretty astonishing how much the Star Wars community changes, but doesn't really change. So, for what, maybe 10 years, George Lucas was like celebrated as a man god. Then he experienced 15 years of intense hatred. And that moved to Kathleen Kennedy and Disney. And so, for 10 years, she became this apocalyptic, evil witch woman. And now it's shifting to Bob Iger. So probably we're gonna have like 20 years of Bob Iger hate because Bob has done a lot of bad things. I mean, he did bad things just behind the scenes. Has nothing to do with the film itself, but just releasing the film, he probably got Quentin Tarantino all angry at him. So yeah, Big Bob has a lot to answer for. So what did Bob do? Apparently, Adam Driver had a really interesting idea for a Ben film, and they had it all mapped out. Seemed very doable, and Lucasfilm wanted to do it. But Bob said, no, no, veto, we're not going to go through with it. And there we are. And again, good or bad, Kathleen Kennedy, like Kevin Feige, at the end of the day, is an employee. Bob is in charge. Bob is the big boss. There are stockholders, but at the end of the day, Bob says do this, and you do it. Doesn't matter if it don't make no sense. Doesn't matter if it's not even possible. Bob says do it, you do it. And if you don't do it, you don't do it. So apparently, this very interesting, intriguing plan to do a Kylo story just never got off the ground. And the Star Wars fandom is now universally livid. It's like I can't find anyone supporting Bob on this. So what happened? How did this happen so fast, so quick? Well, it's curious because there was all this enthusiasm when Disney bought Star Wars that they were getting away from the prequels, which I vehemently defend, but I don't defend everything in the prequels. Clearly, George made a few controversial decisions. To put it mildly, he made some very controversial decisions. So people just assume that Bob would just have better ideas, and he didn't. He didn't. Now, if we're gonna roast Bob Iger, and don't worry, it's gonna continue with Tron Ares. Um, we have to credit him with some of the good stuff, right? If we're gonna credit Kathleen Kennedy, same thing. It's that Bob and her decided those were good ideas. So Mando seasons 1 and 2, that's their ideas, right? Filoni and Favreau implemented them, but they needed approval. So there you go. I still think those are very decent seasons. And there's that. There's Andor, of course, which is really expensive. And then there's Rogue One. So the win column is pretty impressive, but you have to think about all the Star Wars projects that have received vehement criticism. A lot of it is pretty dumb, right? A lot of the criticism is really stupid, like especially for Kenobi. But there were even moments, even I was like, in Kenobi, was like, that is jaw-droppingly stupid. Like the one where Kenobi's caught at the fence, and he's like pushing all those buttons, like, oh no, I can't get away! I can't get away! And it's like, you could just walk, like, literally a couple feet, and you're fine. Just walk. You have Jedi power. Don't you have super speed? Remember from the episode 1, you have super speed. Just use your super speed. Just use some flash powers. But it's like, no, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a train wreck beyond Andor, Rogue One, and the first seasons of the Mando. So maybe the Mando movie will be a brilliant resurrection? Don't know. I think the box office for Mando will actually be pretty good. I think it'll get to the 500, 600 million mark. And since they probably spent no more than, what, 80, 90 million this time, it'll turn a nice profit. That's going to be the new formula. Just make Star Wars at a cheaper, lower scale, make more profits, wave of the future. So the question is, why did Bob do it? And I think it's always going to be the same answer: money. Just doesn't want to spend the cost. Just doesn't see the profitability. Which brings us to Tron Ares, which apparently will be the biggest, biggest money loser of 2025. Now it has competition because there's Superman, and God only knows they may have spent like 300 million on that thing. We just don't know. We really don't. So maybe Superman lost 1 or 2 million more. Maybe. But Tron Ares is in a class of its own. And good or bad, although I have a lot of criticism of Superman, it is setting up a universe. They probably are making a ton of money from the merchandise, right? Kids still do buy Superman toys, but who's gonna buy Tron Ares? What 11-year-old, 12-year-old, or 13-year-old is like, I need Jared Leto on a bike. I need it. Jared on the light bike. I'm gonna pay $50 for that. There just isn't the demand that there is for Superman. We got to be honest. So why even bother? Because Tron Ares, and yes, unfortunately, I did see it, doesn't really pick up from the first or second film. It's just vaguely related. It does seem to be legit, really a Jared Leto film. And again, Jared seems to be an actual fan. So the aesthetics matches up, and they do have canonical moments they acknowledge, but really it just seems to be we're starting Tron all over again, and it's just with flashy red lights this time. Not blue lights, we're going with red lights, and it just cost a bundle. Again, for Hollywood, this is kind of cheap. 180 million is like chicken feed, but still, it is real money, and the losses appear to be very, very real. It is just losing a massive part of its audience. It had a very underwhelming opening, and week by week, it's losing theaters, it's losing people, it's losing interest. It's getting very high audience scores, but the actual audience turning out is kind of small. And listen, I like Tron, I'm a Tron fan, but do I want to go to theaters and promote this thing or pay full price, pay the IMAX? No. It looks good in moments. The director is competent. I think the actors are motivated, but script, the story, the plot, I mean, even the themes are just so childish. I mean, it is like, oh, the threat of AI. Oh no, Anakin, we're becoming like machines now. We have to think about this harder. I mean, you're going to be shocked at how elementary this thing is. It's just like so juvenile. And that is clearly where Bob wants to be. Like, let's get the kids money. Kids are stupid. They'll open their wallets. Come on now. Flashing lights, right? Nice soundtrack. Give them that much. But it's Nine Inch Nails. I mean, I'm like, I grew up with Nine Inch Nails in the 90s. Would these kids even recognize Nine Inch Nails or Daft Punk? Do they even know what these things are? It's just very, very strange project. I'm glad they did it. I do want to see Tron continue. And people are like, Tron will never be on the silver screen again. No, we're just going to do a Mando. We're going to make another Tron, like Joker style, just make it really, really small budget. Maybe do a different story completely. Do kind of a prequel thing, just make it a little bit different from the other films. Still have Jeff Bridges with a cameo. I'm notorious for hating Critical Drinker, but yeah, oh boy, he gets a lot wrong in his review. I don't know why he keeps saying these things like it's some kind of radical woke feminist communist. It is not. It is not. That said, without spoiling too much of the film, the beginning is very, very on the nose. I mean, it is sledgehammer time. It is like, oh, the female CEO, I want to help people spread knowledge. We have a responsibility. And the white evil guy CEO, who doesn't even look that good, is like, no, money and power, more stuff for me. I'm not exaggerating. That is literally the beginning, and it's done through these weird newscasts. And I'm just like, oh my god. I mean, exposition is a dilemma in most screenplays. No doubt about that, but that's just it. Yep. It doesn't even look that good either. So I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. So yeah, that's just what this is here for, just to try to cash in on the licensing. It's just that it's not even a good strategy. I mean, Tron is popular with a certain subculture, right? There is a market for 1980s and now even 1990s culture. It is there. It can be done. It can even be really profitable. I mean, Barbie, for God's sakes. They're making billions from an old doll. So clearly there's an audience for this, but it's not a very entertaining or energetic film. And I don't even hate Jared Leto, but, you know, putting him in the lead role. Why? Because it wouldn't get done without him. He has name recognition, but it's like he's not the great character to build a story around. So yeah, it's just like it's just too much of a formula. It's too much of a formula. So I don't know. Is Big Bob going to get more creative? No, the budgets are just going to go down. Maybe a few creative projects are going to squeak through, but it's like that's all I'm foreseeing for the future with Bob. He's just going to keep cutting the budgets or do more with less. Gosh darn it! I need more money in my quarters. Quarterly earnings are down. Don't you understand? I got to make a profit here. Yeah, no, I got it. We all got it, but I don't know. You gotta think more wisely about what we're doing with the storytelling. Granted, money is the object, but crazy people are so like, well, we need kind of a good story here too. Kind of throw a good story here and there because that is sorely lacking in Tron Ares. And there you go. Then you have this brilliant Adam Driver idea. He's a star. Do that? No, no. We're gonna go back to Tron. Tron has a legacy and a formula. We have a license. And how did that work out for you? It's just a major loss. Major loss on all counts.